everybody? Today, I'm going to talk about times when I experienced the butterfly effect. Now, if you're new here, consider us to start ringing the bell. So I've done a few of these, strange phenomenon videos. I did one close to 2 years ago now, where it was one where it was, times when I experienced the Mandela effect. And then there was also one that I did a few months ago, a little bit less to an extent of this, where it's called, talked about close calls that I've experienced. But, I have a few here today of, butterfly effects, and I kind of wanted to talk about them. So yeah, let's get started. I am starting with the tame ones first, and aiming for more of the serious and more significant ones later on. So the first one that I have is the Monster Jackpot at Pier 39. So for people who don't know this video, I did a video in March of 2023 where I vlogged Pier 39 when I was in San Francisco for that trip. And the majority of that video probably was, and it was the arcade that was in there. And I actually had a pretty good run up until when I recorded this. So what happened is that there was a recording, or a section of it that I did where I played the game of the Monster Jackpot. And, I never really liked this game, to be honest, because, it is kind of just complete chance, so it's not entirely rigged. Basically all skill, but I just never had any luck with it. Played that once, and then I went to another game, and I think after that, I won the 750 ticket jackpot for Tower of Tickets, which normally I'm terrible at that one. But what's interesting is that I went back to this game. I almost didn't record it because I made a split-second decision to where originally I wasn't going to record because I was oh, there's already a clip that I've done with this game. But then, right at the last minute, I decided to try to record it. And I'm so glad I got that on camera because I would have been really mad at myself if I got the jackpot and I did not get it on camera. So, oh my god! What? No way! Oh my god! What? Look at that! Holy crap, I just got that on camera. Probably one of my favorite clips I've ever had on the channel, and it was completely at last second that I recorded that. So that was a really cool thing that I got on camera. And it's kind of interesting because my videos have improved a lot since then, but that clip is still timeless. Maybe not the full video, but so I'm just so glad that I managed to record it. Number 2 is the Killer Clowns from Outer Space VHS. Last year, I did a video of one of the series of the VHS and DVD pickups, and in that video, I mentioned this movie that I got for a pretty expensive price back then, called Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I watched it on streaming before I watched it on this VHS. What happened is that I bought this for around $100, and I was this is the most I've ever spent on a VHS, but it was just so rare, and actually that was one of the better deals at the time. But now that I've realized, I literally bought it at the right time because this movie has gone up an insane amount of money. It was already kind of a lot already, but I'm so glad I bit the bullet and decided to buy this because I looked these up on eBay a few weeks ago, and holy crap, these copies are $350 now. I'm so glad I decided to get this because now this is definitely the most valuable VHS I own. And I thought $100 was a lot back then, so because I did buy it hesitantly, I was did I really want to spend this much on this VHS or this movie? But yeah, I just really love this movie. It's kind of not necessarily a horror movie. There's horror elements, but it's kind of funny.
Oh, pizza.
I'm so glad that I got this movie when I did, because I probably wouldn't have been able to get it now. So the next one is leaving my private school. So I mentioned a school thing like this, and I think it was a Close Calls video, where in that video I talked about that I was about to drop out from high school, but then COVID happened, and I was gonna try to take my GED, but that just ruined everything. But this is a little bit of a different example in terms of school and education. So I joined a private school in 2016. It's actually almost been 10 years on the month that has happened. It's crazy that it's been 10 years already. I joined this private school, and I was there for around, I think, 2 years, or technically less than 2 years, but like, I quit and I left in around February of 2018, and I went on homebound for a while, and I've just had a history of just going on homebound multiple times. But apparently what I found out is that, like, if I stayed at that school, I wouldn't have had the same kind of regular diploma that I would have gotten in high school. And that's what I did. I went back to public school and I got a legit diploma. Because, like, I mean, there isn't, like, no diploma when you graduate from this private school that I used to go to, but it didn't really, like, equal to the hype and, like, the kind of validation of a regular high school diploma. So, like, even though I really did like that private school, I think it was a really good choice in the long run for me to go back to public school and get an actual high school diploma, because I didn't think that was gonna happen. Like, I mean, I was considering dropping out around 2020, but that didn't happen, luckily. So I'm so glad in the long run that I did go back to a public school, because I just feel like I wouldn't even have gotten a lot of these jobs that I worked in the past 5 years or so if I was still at this private school. Not to say that, like, the private school diploma was bad, but I just feel like it was a lot more official that I actually have a regular high school diploma. So I'm glad I made that choice. But at the time, I didn't want to leave that school, but I felt like with my mental health, it was kind of the right choice. But I'm so glad it worked out the way it did. But yeah. Number 4 is near car crash. So this one was recent. I'm not talking about the car crash in 2024, which totaled my car, but I almost had another one. So what happened is, it was, I think it was like literally right after New Year's Day, or something, like the week after that or something. And I was getting some Domino's pizza. Yeah, so what happened is that I pulled out, I decided to go in the turn lane just automatically. It's literally like right next to my house, so like it was just easier to do it that way. But I was considering maybe trying to like go into the lane to the left of it and then turn right separately, or after that. I went into the turn lane, and then right after I went into the turn lane, this car just slams into the back of the car that was waiting for the stoplight and rammed into the back of it. Now, I don't think there were any injuries. I saw it literally happen. I mean, like, I think that actually the car that hit them got more damage than the one that was in front of them. And apparently, that person was on their phone. Which is like, please don't text and drive, people. Like, just pull over, please. One lane difference, and I would have freaking gotten hit in the back from another car. But yeah, just one lane difference, and I would have had to freaking total my car again. And it wouldn't be my fault that time. But yeah. And the last one is the popcorn job, or the popcorn opportunity. So currently I work at I don't know if I want to say where, but I work at kind of like a concession stand type of thing. And like, I was doing pretty good with it. And I'm actually working in this area, or this job, until September, and it's actually kind of almost wrapping up soon. But what happened is that around early June, I got a opportunity to make popcorn for this job, instead of going at the concession stand. I was a little hesitant to do it because even though the concession stand could be stressful sometimes, it was kind of like what I really know for everything. Like, I was so used to doing everything there, but I decided to take it. I made the best decision because I avoided all the bad heat in this concession stand. Because the thing is that the concession stands around there, like, they really don't have air conditioning at all. I mean, they have fans, but they barely worked. And like, I do remember working an 85-degree day before this popcorn job, and it was horrible. And like because of like all the fried foods and all that and all the water to like boil the hot dogs and stuff, like it got up to 100 degrees in there. And now, like, especially in this past week or so, where it was like freaking 100-degree temperatures. So actually, I think this was the first time we had hit 100 degrees since 2023. So yeah, I avoided all of this. And apparently there's a lot of people out there freaking passing out like crazy and overheating. I don't think there's even really heat strokes yet, but it's gotten pretty bad. So, and the thing is, I sweat more than the average person. Like, my medicine, since I take a crap ton of medications like antidepressants and anxiety and all that, my medicine makes me drench in sweat. And I've heard some people say, from our coworkers I've had recently, where it can get up to 120, 125 degrees in there. Like, and I'm so glad I took this popcorn job, because where it is that it's in its own area. It's not near where the concession stands are. It's kind of in its own little part. And it's air conditioned, and I mean, it gets a little warmer with like the popcorn machine, but I'm so glad I took the opportunity. Now, this one could change a little bit, because I do have a little bit of time left, but there's also a chance I might be going back to concession stand before my job ends, which my job ends around mid-September, so it could possibly change, but I've pretty much avoided the really bad heat. So I'm just so glad I did make that decision, and that's probably the most notable one as of late. So yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. I am going to be trying to post a little bit more. I'm sorry that I haven't done that, because I have gotten kind of exhausted from making those two Disney videos, and that took a long time. But thank you guys so much for your patience, and I will be trying to post more videos in the future. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.